The Briarwood Country Club boardroom went utterly quiet when Patrick Jones stepped inside. 3 men in blazers turned. Only one of them mattered.
Patrick, you are not on the board agenda. The Caddie shack is out back. I've been here 32 years, sir. I am asking for 1 round. A retirement round. Just 1.
Jeffrey let out a short, dry laugh. It bounced off the mahogany paneling.
1 round. Caddies carry the bags, Patrick. They don't soil the membership tee. You know the rules. Tiger, Phil, 3 Masters champions. I carried for them all, and he still calls me nothing.
Harold, the board treasurer, stared at the table. His jaw clenched, but he stayed silent.
I won't beg him. He's already made up his mind. Walk out with your head high.
Patrick turned without a word. His worn shoes made no sound on the thick carpet as he walked away. The door clicked shut behind him. Outside, the sun was blazing, but inside Patrick felt a cold weight settle. His last request denied. Patrick walked the long way around the clubhouse to the Caddie shack. He didn't want any member seeing his face. Inside, the air was stale. On a dusty shelf sat a faded photo. Him and Tiger Woods. Augusta, 2001. He remembered reading a putt for Phil at Winged Foot. The way Phil looked at him after, like he'd seen a ghost.
The only club I ever called home. And they wouldn't let me take 1 swing.
He drove home in silence. In his modest living room, he picked up the phone and dialed Andrew.
Dad, you never call during work. What's going on?
I asked for 1 round. Jeffrey told me caddies don't soil the membership tee. Then he laughed.
He said that to your face? After the names you've carried? Dad, that's disgusting.
It's done, son. No point in fighting a wall. I am just tired.
Andrew didn't answer, but the line stayed open, and the silence said more than words. 3 weeks after his father hung up, Andrew's desk phone rang with news that rattled him. A celebrity had dropped out of the Pro-Am at Briarwood. The tournament needed a local replacement immediately.
Dad, he's the best golfer they've never seen. This is the chance.
He pulled up the tournament rules on his laptop. Emergency replacements had to be approved by the host club and the PGA. The window was tight. Andrew grabbed his phone and dialed the number he knew by heart.
Andrew, it's late, son. What's the matter?
Dad, listen. The Pro-Am at Briarwood lost a player. They need someone right now. I want to put your name in.
Mine? Don't start this. You know what Jeffrey said. They'll never let a caddy play.
The PGA can force their hand. If they refuse, we pull the whole tournament. Just say you'll consider it.
He's not letting go. But I can't stand another door slammed in my face.
Patrick didn't answer, but Andrew heard the hesitation. He'd won the first inch. Andrew didn't wait. He called Briarwood, got routed to Jeffrey's office, and put the question directly.
Mr. Whitmore, it's Andrew Jones. The Pro-Am needs a replacement. I am proposing my father, Patrick Jones.
Your father? The caddy? Don't waste my time. I already told him. Caddies don't soil the membership tee.
The line went cold. Andrew didn't curse. He just dialed Richard Carter. He laid out the whole story, the boardroom humiliation, the laugh, the 3 words that broke his father.
Jeffrey refused because he's a caddy? That's a PGA-sanctioned event. I'll handle this.
10 minutes later, Jeffrey's phone rang again. Richard Carter's voice was ice.
You will accept Patrick Jones as a replacement, or the Celebrity Pro-Am walks today. Am I clear?
You can't. This is fine. He plays, but this isn't over.
Andrew called his father. For a long moment, Patrick said nothing. The silence was heavier than before. Patrick finally spoke, his voice quieter than the dial tone.
You know what this means, Andrew. They'll try to embarrass me in front of everyone.
No. Dad, they'll watch you take that course apart. You were a college All-American. You deserve this.
40 years since Lillian handed me that plaque. She cried, said she'd never been prouder.
He hung up and walked to the shed. Old paint cans, dusty shelves, and in the corner, a leather bag he hadn't touched in decades. Inside, clubs with cracked head covers, a faded patch still stitched to the canvas. All American, 1982, the last time he'd swung these. Lillian was in a hospital bed, telling him not to let his dream die. He let it die for her. He pulled the driver, its grip worn smooth by hands that had carried the dreams of other men. He set it on the floor and stared.
Not for me. For Andrew. For her memory.
Tomorrow, he'd walk those fairways not as a caddy, but as a player. And the club would watch. The next evening, Patrick turned his old sedan into the members' parking lot for the first time. He'd walked this blacktop as a caddy 1,000 times. Now every head on the terrace turned.
Let them stare. I earned the right to walk through that door.
He entered through the grand foyer, and a wave of whispers rippled through the membership. The old caddy was here as a player.
Ah, Patrick. Right on time. I see you've parked where the paying members park. How enterprising. I'll be playing tomorrow, Mr. Whitmore. That makes me a player. Now, where's the locker room?
Jeffrey's smile vanished. He gestured stiffly down the hall, as if swatting a fly. Patrick walked into the players' locker room, polished wood and soft light, and there, on a locker, a small brass plate, P. Jones. He ran his thumb over the engraved letters. A name he'd never seen on this side of the club.
It's just a locker, but it's a door they tried to shut. Now it's open.
He hung his old golf bag in the locker and didn't look back. Outside, the course waited in the dusk. Dawn broke clean and sharp. By 7, the driving range was humming, except one stall where pros stopped to watch. Patrick Jones, in his navy polo and worn glove, striped iron after iron with a rhythm that silenced the chatter.
That's a buttery swing, sir. I am Brad. Guess I am your partner today.
Patrick. Let's see if the old grip holds up under pressure.
An hour later, the gallery formed at the first tee. Members in blazers stood with arms crossed. Jeffrey appeared, glass in hand. The announcer's voice boomed. And now, a late addition to the field. Patrick Jones, longtime caddy at Briarwood. A pocket of laughter spread through the crowd. Someone muttered, "He'll shank it into the trees."
Deep breath. Let the club do the work. That's what Daddy always said.
He set his ball, took one look at the fairway, and unleashed a drive that climbed like a rope. It landed 280 yards out, dead center. The laughter died. A few hands came together, then more. Brad walked up beside him, shaking his head. "All right, sir, let's have a day." On the second, a wedge to 4 feet, then a birdie putt that disappeared without a second thought.
Man, you are reading these greens like you built them.
On the 5th, a high cut to 3 feet, birdie. The gallery, now thicker, began to murmur. By the 7th, he reached a par 5 and 2 and walked off with birdie. The members behind the ropes stopped laughing.
You are 3 under through 7, sir. 3 under.
Inside the clubhouse, Jeffrey Whitmore sat alone in a leather chair watching the feed. His knuckles were white on the armrest. On the broadcast, a commentator leaned in. "That swing is classic, textbook. Who is this caddy?"
Don't think about the score. Just the next shot. That's all.
He parred the 8th, then finally looked up at the leaderboard. P. Jones, -3. Brad walked beside him toward the 9th, studying the old clubs. "Mind if I see that driver?" The 9th was a monstrous par 5, reachable only with 2 perfect strikes. Patrick launched his drive like he'd done it 1,000 times. It rolled out 310 yards.
If you knock this on in 2, you are looking at eagle. No one's done that today.
Patrick didn't hesitate. A high, drawing fairway wood cut through the air, bounced once on the front edge, and rolled to 25 feet. He walked onto the green to a rising murmur. One putt, from downhill for eagle. He stroked it. The ball caught the edge of the cup and circled in. The roar was instant. The leaderboard blinked. P. James, -5. A name they'd mocked now topped the board. Behind the 9th green, an old man in overalls leaned on a rake. Otis had known Patrick for 30 years. He didn't cheer, just nodded once, slow and certain. In the gallery, Andrew Jones stood frozen. Then he pressed his hands to his face, tears running through his fingers. Jeffrey's phone buzzed. a board member from the club. Yes. The voice on the other end was sharp. Who is this Patrick Jones, Jeffrey? He just eagled our ninth.
He's a caddy, that's all. But the word caught in his throat hollow.
The eagle fueled him. On 10, a bunker splash and birdie putt, now -6.
The way you read that break, I've never seen a caddy do that. Sorry, I mean...
He just smiled. On the next, a wedge to 6 feet. Another birdie. -7. The gallery, 5 deep, buzzed. Jeffrey Whitmore stepped outside. He glassed the 11th green through binoculars. His mouth was dry.
Don't look back. Don't look at the scoreboard.
In the broadcast truck, a producer found a 1982 headline, Patrick Jones named NCAA All-American. He called the director. Hold the graphic. If this is real, that Caddie's a ghost from another life. Andrew's phone buzzed. An ESPN reporter. Did your father play college golf? We need background.
They found it. Mom, I hope you are watching.
Patrick walked to the 12th tee, oblivious. Behind him, the gallery whispered not just about his score. On the 12th, his tee shot hooked left into a deep greenside bunker. The gallery groaned. From the sand, he splashed out to 4 feet, then rolled in the par putt with ice in his veins. The crowd chanted his name as he walked to the 13th. Jeffrey, in the gallery, looked like a man watching a ghost.
One swing at a time. Don't let them see you rattled.
On 13, a pure iron to 10 feet. He read the green, stroked, and the ball disappeared for birdie. The roar was deafening. The leaderboard flashed. P. Jones, -8. The course record of 62 was now just 6 shots away. Behind the boundary fence, a young caddy in a bib pressed his face to the mesh. Marcus couldn't blink.
That's him! The one they said would never play. He's teaching them.
In the broadcast booth, the producer finally showed the commentators the old headline. We have to run this. It changes everything. Jeffrey stared at the leaderboard. His phone vibrated again. He didn't answer. The 14th was a short par 4, but Patrick's drive caught a fairway bunker. He stood over the ball 30 yards from the pin. He opened his stance, swung, and watched the ball shoot low, then bite and roll. It curved in a gentle arc and dropped. Eagle. The gallery exploded. Patrick raised a clenched fist. The leaderboard ticked mercilessly. P. Jones, -10. In the broadcast truck, the director made the call. Roll it. On every screen, a 1982 photo of a young Patrick holding an All-American trophy filled the frame. The public address announcer's voice echoed over the course. Ladies and gentlemen, an update on Patrick Jones. He was an NCAA All-American in 1982. The gallery gasped. A ripple of murmurs, then a wave of applause. Jeffrey Whitmore's face drained of color. He grabbed a railing to steady himself. Andrew stood in the gallery, his face wet. He mouthed the words. That's my old man.
An All-American. I called him nothing. I laughed at him. They know now. Let them know. Just keep playing.
The secret was out. The caddy they'd barred from the tee was a champion, and he was rewriting their record book. The 15th tee sat under a live oak. The crowd's hush was different now. Reverend. Patrick looked up at the sea of faces. He nodded once. Then he teed his ball. His swing was pure muscle memory. The ball hit the fairway like a guided missile. From 160 yards, his 9-iron spun back to 10 feet. The crowd roared before it hit the green. He crouched behind the putt, 10 feet, straight in. He didn't blink. The leaderboard flashed. P. Jones, -11. The course record was breathing down his neck. Andrew sat in the stands, head bowed, shoulders shaking. His father was 4 holes from history. Jeffrey Whitmore stood against a tree, arms crossed, no color in his face. He didn't leave. He couldn't.
All those years carrying other men's dreams. Now mine is on that board.
With the record in reach, Patrick Jones walked to the 16th tee. 3 holes stood between a caddy and immortality. The 16th was a par 3. 195 yards, over a lake that shimmered with menace. The crowd pressed in, silent for the first time all day. Patrick pulled a 6-iron and set up without ceremony. The water waited. His swing was silk. The ball climbed, hung, and dropped softly 8 feet from the cup. The gallery exhaled as one, then began to buzz. He walked onto the green with the calm of a man who had seen this green in his dreams. He crouched behind the putt, reading a left-to-right break. His hands were steady. The stroke was pure. The ball tracked the line and disappeared. Birdie, the leaderboard flashed. P. Jones, -12. The crowd noise hit like a wall. Jeffrey Whitmore stood in the gallery, slack-jawed, his red blazer a flag of surrender. Patrick touched the brim of his visor and walked toward 17. One eagle on the last hole would give him a 61. The 17th was a long par 5, reachable in 2 for the fearless. Patrick teed his ball high. He needed every yard. His swing produced a sound that silenced the lingering chatter. The ball split the fairway, rolling out past 330. From 260 yards, Patrick pulled his fairway wood. The green lay beyond a creek, protected by deep rough. He trusted his swing. The ball climbed high, cleared the hazard, and landed soft on the green, 30 feet from the cup. Patrick walked onto the green to a wall of noise. He crouched behind the eagle putt, reading the break. His first putt burned the edge. The crowd groaned. He tapped in for birdie. Patrick tapped his chest and pointed to the sky. The roar swallowed him. The leaderboard flashed. P. Jones, -13. One hole remained. He walked to the final tee, his old driver over his shoulder. The crowd chanted his name.
Eagle on 18 for 61. One more swing. One more putt.
The 18th tee box at Briarwood had never held this many people. Every phone was raised. Every breath held. He looked down the long, rolling fairway. The flag on 18 was still, as if waiting for him. He teed his ball, took one last look at Lillian's photo tucked inside his bag, and set his feet. His driver met the ball with a crack that echoed through the pines. The ball launched a white dot against the sky. The crowd tracked it. A low murmur building as it split the fairway, 195 yards from the green. Patrick walked to his ball without expression. He had hit this shot 10,000 times in his mind. He pulled his 5-iron, stared down the green, and swung. The ball rose in a towering arc, then dropped like a feather. The ball landed 20 feet from the cup and checked. For a full second, the world went silent. Then the roar came, shaking the ground. Phones flashed. Strangers hugged strangers. He had 20 feet for eagle. One putt for a course record 61.
20 feet. Right edge. Then it'll come back, like the one I read for Tiger in 97.
He set his putter behind the ball, took one last look, and let his shoulders drop. The noise in his head went quiet. His stroke was smooth, the putter face square at impact. The ball started on its line, tracking right. It crept toward the hole, gathering speed on the downhill slope. The crowd's murmur became a low moan. The ball kissed the right edge, spun halfway around the cup, and fell. The flagstick barely quivered. Patrick raised both arms, putter in one hand, and screamed into the sky. 32 years of silence answered. Andrew vaulted the ropes and ran across the green, his face a mess of tears. He grabbed his father before the cameras could.
You did it, Dad. You did it.
The leaderboard flickered once, then burned. P. Jones, 61. New course record. The gallery lost themselves. Hats flew, strangers cried, and somewhere in the back, Otis wiped his eyes with a rag. The green became chaos. Cameras shoved in, reporters shouting over each other. But Patrick's eyes found Jeffrey in the crowd. Jeffrey Whiteworth walked toward him. The walk of a man who had no choice.
Congratulations, Jones. Quite a performance.
Patrick took it. His grip was firm, his smile thin. The cameras caught every second. The leaderboard behind them flashed. Course record. P. Jones, 61. The club's oldest board members looked like they'd swallowed glass. Andrew stood at the ropes, a reporter's microphone suddenly in his face.
He gave up his career for our family, carried bags for 32 years so I could have mine. Today, he carried himself.
Andrew's voice broke, but he didn't look away. Around him, the gallery quieted to listen. Patrick overheard it. He didn't turn, but his jaw tightened and he pressed a hand briefly to his chest. Jeffrey heard it too. He stood frozen, red blazer, limp, as the truth of who he'd humiliated finally settled on the membership. An hour later, the 18th green had been transformed. A stage, a trophy, and a giant check for $3 million. The club's leadership stood sheepishly behind the podium.
Ladies and gentlemen, Patrick Jones didn't just break a course record today. He broke a silence that should never have existed. The PGA is proud to offer him a permanent role as a diversity ambassador.
Patrick nodded, but before he could speak, Jeffrey Whitmore stepped up to the mic, clearing his throat.
On behalf of Briarwood, I'd like to offer Mr. Jones a complimentary lifetime membership. His performance today was remarkable. Thank you, Jeffrey. But I played my round today. That was all I ever wanted. Keep the membership.
The crowd fell silent. Jeffrey's face flushed as he stepped back.
This trophy isn't for me. The $3 million, every penny, goes to the Lillian Jones Jr. Golf Foundation, for kids who never got a tee time.
Grace Williams stepped up, her eyes glistening. She took the mic with a steady hand.
Patrick and Lillian dreamed of this. Today, that dream has a check and a name. We'll build them a course, and we'll build them a course, and we'll build them a future.
The Briarwood members stood in stunned silence. Their red-blazered president had been handed a moral defeat, and the crowd's applause was deafening. Long after the cameras left, Patrick walked the path to the Caddie shack alone. The noise of the day fell away behind him. Inside, the air smelled of leather and cut grass. He sat on the old bench where he'd tied shoes for 3 decades.
This is where it started, and this is where it finishes.
The door creaked. A young caddy in a bib stepped inside, eyes wide as golf balls. Marcus had been waiting.
Mr. Jones, I just wanted to say, that was the greatest thing I ever saw.
Patrick looked at him for a long moment. Then he pulled the worn brown glove from his hand.
Take it. This glove carried more dreams than any club. One day you'll play. Make sure you do.
Yes, sir. I'll practice every day, I swear.
Marcus held the glove like a relic. Then he backed out, still staring at it, and the door clicked shut. Patrick sat in the quiet, the old shack around him. He didn't need a membership, a trophy, or a title. He'd finally taken his swing. The next morning, the Lillian Jones Foundation driving range was already full of kids. Patrick stepped out of his car and heard laughter.
Patrick, over here, Marisol's been asking for you.
Patrick knelt beside a small girl whose grip was too tight. His weathered hands gently adjusted her small fingers.
Soft hands, honey. Let the club do the work. Now, swing smooth.
The girl took a wobbly swing. The ball skipped along the grass, and she spun around beaming. Grace watched from the side, a cup of coffee in her hand, the same warm smile she'd worn the day before. Behind her, a polished wooden plaque caught the sun. Lillian Jones Jr. Golf Foundation. A single rose rested beneath it. Patrick walked over and touched the edge of the plaque with his bare hand. His left glove was gone now, but his grip was still steady.
She'd be proud, Patrick. Not just of the 61, of all this.
He nodded, eyes glistening. Then he turned back to the range, where the next generation was already swinging. Evening fell. Patrick Jones walked to his car with his old clubs. He didn't look back at the clubhouse. The sedan rolled through the grand gate. The members-only sign caught the headlights for a second, then faded. In the rearview mirror, the clubhouse lights shrank. He glanced at Lillian's photo on the dashboard.
We did it, baby.
His bare hand touched the photo, then rested on the wheel. The glove was gone, but his grip was still steady. He turned onto the main road and accelerated. The club disappeared behind him. The road stretched ahead, dark and open. For the first time in 32 years, his time was his own, and as the last trace of Briarwood vanished in the mirror, Patrick Jones never caddied again. The road went on.